Hey everyone, so Xiaomi released their new phone, which is the Mi 10 Ultra, and this is probably one of the best phones of 2020 so far. So let's just get started with the video. So the Mi 10 Ultra was actually announced on August 11th, but I didn't actually make a video because I wanted to see what other reviewers were actually saying about it since I didn't have it in hand. But now I know a lot more about the phone. I'm going to be doing my basically my first impressions, and obviously no hands-on because I don't have the phone. But if I ever do, then I'll do a review and hands-on on it. And maybe I will, who knows. So this phone packs in a lot, and so let's just start off with the price tag. We have a $769 price tag. Now, for that money, you're getting some crazy specs. Let's go over all of them today, but let's start off with the design. And so, with the design, it's actually a really cool design. We got three different kind of color, well, two colors, and then one kind of like color, I guess you would say, but it's transparent. Let me explain. So basically, we have the white and black color, which is not that many colors, and that's it. Those are the two main colors, and then the other kind of color is a clear case, almost clear, kind of like a clear mod of the Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra, so you could see basically everything inside. Now, a little disclaimer. You can't really see everything inside. What I mean by that is that a lot of those things inside are actually stickers. So I just wanted to point that out a little bit. But anyways, on the back we're getting Gorilla Glass 5, and as well as the front. And then we're also getting an aluminum frame, and the weight is 221 grams, so actually pretty thick for a phone. Comparing to all the other flagship phones, I would say that the one that is closest to in weight, I think, is maybe the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. I'm not sure exactly how many grams it is, but it's pretty close to the Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. So now let's talk about the display of this phone. Now, actually, I would say that this phone is a little bit smaller than most other phones being released this year. I know that we're getting a 6.7-inch screen phone on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and then also on the Note 20 Ultra we got a 6.9-inch screen. But with this, you're just getting a 6.7-inch screen with an 89.5% screen to body ratio. And that 6.7-inch screen, or actually 6.67-inch screen, is a resolution of 1080 by 2340, and that is around 386 ppi, or pixels per inch. We also have HDR10 Plus, a 120 Hz refresh rate, and the typical brightness is around 800 nits, even though you can actually go up to about 1200 nits. Also, this display has 1 billion colors, and it is an OLED screen. So now let's talk about the performance. We're getting the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 with the Adreno 650 GPU, and you get several different options. You either get 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM, and finally 512 gigabytes of storage and up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. And that storage is super fast because of UFS 3.1 storage. So that is insanely fast. And so that's Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, even though it isn't, the 865 Plus, it's really, really, really good. I've seen on Antutu benchmark that you can get up to 640,000 points, which is the highest on an Antutu benchmark so far. Previously, I believe it was the Oppo Find X2 Pro. So really, really good. And the Oppo Find X2 Pro had 610,000, I think. So this is a major upgrade. And then on Geekbench, it's also really good. I wouldn't say as good actually as other Snapdragon 865 phones, because I think you're getting a multi-core score of about 2700 or 2800, and then you're getting a single core score of about 600 or 700. So definitely not as good as other you know other phones that are in that price range, but still very, very close in terms of Geekbench. In terms of Antutu benchmark, it's really, really, really great. So let's talk about the software. And so originally I was really skeptical. I'm really, really bad at spelling or speaking. Skeptical about MIUI 12 with Android 10. But it turns out it was actually really, really great. I didn't actually get to test it out myself, but from other reviewers, all the features that you're getting and everything that you're getting, including this really cool always-on display that Xiaomi has, where basically they have the Earth, I guess, zoomed in very, very, far, like into just like a normal rock or something like that, and then it zooms out super, super far just to basically all the Earth itself. So it's really cool. And then also you're getting all these different kinds of animations, which normally I wouldn't really like, because I really like Oxygen OS, which is there's not too many options, in terms of animations on Oxygen OS. But these animations are really awesome, because basically when you delete an app or something like that, then the app pops, and then it basically affects all the other apps and makes it kind of like a little really cool animation. You guys would kind of have to see it from yourself or look at other YouTubers, to see that, but still really, really awesome animations. And also, it hasn't gotten cleaner, but it has gotten a little bit more easier to, navigate around. I mean, everything's just really, really smooth. And so with that 120 hertz refresh rate, it's way better, because previously it was 90 hertz, but with 120 hertz, it's really great with MIUI 12. I've actually heard that with 120 hertz comparing to other 120 hertz phones, this has felt the smoothest out of all the other ones that people have compared. So now let's talk about one of the other really big things, and that is the cameras. And there's a whole lot of cameras. We have a 48 megapixel wide angle camera with a f1.9 aperture, and with that you're getting laser autofocus and OIS, and then you're getting a 48 megapixel periscope telephoto lens that is aperture of 4.1, and you're also getting OIS, and you're getting 5 times optical zoom and 120 times optical zoom. You're then getting actually a second telephoto lens, and that is a 12 megapixel aperture of 2.0, and that actually does 2 times optical zooms. But that's also used for portrait mode and other things like that, so it gives a more natural effect, because usually with just the regular zoom or absolutely no zoom, just from the main camera with doing portrait mode shots, they usually don't look as good, and so with a separate camera it looks much, much better. And then lastly, this is a really cool one, a 20 megapixel aperture of 2.2 ultra wide camera, and so this is really special because this is a 128 degree field of view. Now I do believe this is officially the widest basically sensor, because this is actually a 12 millimeter sensor, which is really great. But actually, technically, LG did have on the LG G6 and some other phones, they did actually have a 135 degree field of view. However, this is kind of misleading, because it's actually 125 degree field of view because of some software that LG just decides to put on. So as for video capabilities, you're getting either 8K at 24 FPS, so actually no 30 FPS option, which is kind of surprising, because a lot of manufacturers and many companies are doing 8K at 30 FPS, but that's still fine, because that's what a lot of movie sets use, and you won't be really using 8K that much, because it does take a hit in storage. Unless you get 512 gigabytes of storage, it will take up the storage a lot. But you're also getting 4K at 30 and 60 FPS, which I heard is really, really great, especially the 4K at 60 FPS. DxOMark actually rated this the best camera ever in a smartphone so far, so it's really great. You're also getting 1080p at either 30, 60, 120, 240, or 960 FPS. So that's really, really impressive. You're also getting EIS as well as OIS while recording for all of these, including, I believe, 4K as well. And then you're also getting HDR10 recording, which is really impressive. Now, something that is pretty impressive, not as impressive as the main camera, is the selfie camera. And with that, you're just getting a single 20 megapixel aperture of 2.3 wide angle lens. And so this is pretty good. This has been used on other Xiaomi phones and it's been fine. So yeah, so 1080p at 30 FPS and 720p at 120 FPS, and as well as EIS and OIS, which is pretty impressive. That's the video capabilities, which is fine. A lot of people, usually are completely fine with 1080p. Some other great things that you're getting is stereo speakers. Now, I did hear that these speakers aren't as good as the Xiaomi Mi 10 and the Mi 10 Pro, which is basically the Mi 10's, brother, kind of almost, or, part of the kind of family. And so, even though it's not as good, it's still pretty good because it's stereo speakers, and it should be completely fine for basically anyone. You're also getting an in-display fingerprint scanner, which I heard is actually very fast and pretty responsive. And what I really like the most is the animation for going into, unlocking the phone, because it's really, really cool. And so, yeah. We are also getting a 4500 milliamp hour battery. And so one of the biggest things, and this is another really, really important thing, is that we're getting 120 watt fast charging. Now, I saw a charging test on this, and this is really, really great because even though Xiaomi says that you can get 41% in 5 minutes and 100% in 23 minutes, someone actually got like 50% in 6 minutes. So just go by that, half a charge in 6 minutes, basically. Really, really impressive there. And then 100% in basically, eating some breakfast and getting dressed. Just think about it that way. That's how fast this charging is. Literally, it takes only 23 minutes, which is really great. And also, you're getting a super fast wireless charging, not as fast as the 120 watt fast charging, but the wireless charging is still very fast at 100% in 40 minutes, and you're also getting reverse wireless charging at 10 watts. Now, it didn't say how many minutes it would take to charge, the other phone, because, you would have to know what the milliamp hour battery it would be, so really depends, but 10 watts should be completely fine for if you're doing reverse wireless charging. So basically, that's it for the Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra, and basically the last thing that I want to talk about is the price. And so this is probably the most impressive thing, because a lot of people would be expecting for all this, all this price, all this, basically it would cost a lot to make all these things. But I'm pretty sure what Xiaomi is trying to do, this is just my speculation, is that Xiaomi is trying to make one really, really great phone that doesn't cost that much, and you're not sacrificing anything, because all that, and you're not getting any sacrifice. There's no sacrifices here. You're still getting everything that you would want: stereo speakers, basically a really good screen, 120 hertz refresh rate. You're not really losing anything here, comparing to a OnePlus 8 Pro or an iPhone 11 Pro Max. You're getting a lot for this price point. Now, if I had to complain, I would say that it should have been a 1440p display, but really besides that, still very, very good for this price point. And the price point is a $769 price tag. And $769 is just really great for this price tag. Now, there is one bad thing about this phone, I would say. One major bad thing that I would say about this phone. This is only available in China. However, there is a way to actually get it. It is a little bit pricier. And, I bet if you really look, then it would probably, be a little bit cheaper. But what I've seen so far is that you can get this phone at, 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage for $999. I believe I did see something for $899, but that's actually only going to Shenzhen, so, and nowhere else basically. So unfortunately, this is basically the cheapest that you're gonna get, which is the $999 price tag. However, what's pretty impressive is that only for $50 more, you're getting 256 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. And so, to be honest, this is the phone that I should really save up for, because this is a really awesome phone. I mean, you're getting so much for this price tag, and even though I do want to see what's in the future, I heard there's in-display cameras and all this stuff. So I'm probably not gonna buy this phone unless this in-display cameras don't happen for like 2 years. But what I think is gonna happen really is that the OnePlus 8T is going to be just as good as this phone. Hopefully, 8T Pro. Because I think that OnePlus may do some sort of thing where they just, because they're still sticking, I believe, with, the Snapdragon 865 Plus, so they need to improve on other things. And they already improved on the camera, they've already improved on the refresh rate, display, basically everything. So all they need to improve on is, like some of these things, like, the cameras. Like, I mean, yes, the cameras are really good, but, the zoom and, 8K video, and, yeah. That's just my wish list for kind of the OnePlus 8T and the 8T Pro. But, if this doesn't happen, I mean, I might switch to the Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you are thinking about buying this phone. If you are, then let me know in the comments below, just like I said. And, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you guys later.